Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Garance French and this is Garance French Revolution. So today, as it's on the title, we are talking about the award season. I was doing videos about the Oscars and the Golden Globes, and then I realized that maybe some people don't know what the award season is. So first of all, I'm going to start by explaining exactly what it is, when it takes place. It's not like a real thing that's happening. Like it is a real thing that's happening, but like it's not an official thing. It's like a common knowledge thing, if you will. So anyway, I found a definition online because I was curious like how do people like define it actually, and so I found this definition I think on Wikipedia. A film award season is an annual time period between November and February every year in the United States, where a majority of significant film awards events take place. I'm just going to try to explain to you what I think an award season is. First of all, what we are talking about is indeed a film award season. So we're talking about everything cinema, not music, not TV, just cinema. So that's the first thing I want to address. Although in some of the events, the ceremonies that I'm going to talk about, it's awarding both films and TV shows, but the actual focus of the award season is the movies. Now, it says an annual time period, and it's true, it does take place every year, but I don't really agree with the timing. Like, I'm not sure. They say between November and February, but I would say it's a bit different. First of all, what I consider myself to be the award season is when the first like actual ceremony starts. But I can see how November will be a start because it might be when we're talking the nominations for the first award shows. So I would personally say it begins in January, usually with the Golden Globes, but you could say it begins at the moment of the nominations for the Golden Globe, for example. So this is debatable, but like, and then February, I don't think it ends in February because it usually ends with the Oscars, and the Oscars take place in March, usually, in the beginning of March. So I'm gonna go over the timeline. Basically, the award season starts in January with the Golden Globes. The Golden Globes is always the first one to like start the season, and this year it happened on January 5th, I believe. It's always in the first week or so of January. So that's why I say it begins like the season begins in January. But yeah, the nominations are announced a couple of months before, probably in November. So you could say that's when it starts. But like for me, the actual season is when the ceremonies take place. So when we award people in movies. And so this award seasons it includes a lot of different award shows, both American and also I counted the BAFTAs, which is British, but it mostly takes place in America, usually in LA because that's usually where things happen in movies in Hollywood. I have only written down 5 award shows, but there might be more that I'm not aware of that I don't know that well. But there are like lots of them. Those are like the main ones I would say. First, as I said, we have the Golden Globes, which are usually in January, at the beginning of January, and they sort of open the season. Then we have the Critics' Choice Awards, which are usually also in January. The BAFTAs, which is the British ceremony that is taking place in London, and that's usually in February. The SAG Awards, that takes place also in February, I believe. Usually, it can change. I'm going to talk to you about that, but and that takes place in America as well, I think. And finally, the Oscars, which take place in Los Angeles, usually in March, so the beginning of March. Those are like the 5 main ones, if you will. Those are the ones you should really like. If you are interested in this, those are the ones you should follow and know about. But it exists like dozens of them. There's like award shows for writers, for directors, some very specific stuff that I don't really know about because I'm not American myself, so it's a bit more complicated than this. But like those are the main ones that you should know. And so the award season is always interesting because it takes place over what like 3 months, less than 3 months. In Bridgerton, the season is like when they go out to balls and stuff to find a match to get a husband or wife. It's like it's a limited period of time. It takes place over 2 or 3 months, and that's the same here. That's why we call it a season, and so we call it the award season because that's when a lot of like most I would say most award shows for movies take place. For example, the Grammys, which is an award show for music, it takes place in February. I believe this year is like February 2nd, so it's in the middle of this award season. But it is not included in this because it has nothing to do with movies. And as I said, some of the ceremonies also award TV shows, for example, the Golden Globes. But the TV show award season is not as much of a season. Like it's more like how do you call it? Like the Emmys, which is an award show that awards only TV shows. It takes place like later on in the year. For example, the TV shows that were nominated at this year's Golden Globes were the nominees and winners at the previous Emmys, like that took place a couple of months ago. And so it's a bit like not it's not on the same timeline, if you will. But TV shows are not included in this conversation when we talk about acting and stuff. It's only for movies. There are a couple of things that I really like about the award season. Is that, well, first of all, we have a lot of star appearances in a like limited amount of time. So a lot of red carpet looks, a lot of things happening, a lot of viral moments and stuff. Like, for example, at this year's Golden Globe, Zendaya announced that she's engaged. Like, she didn't announce it, but she had a ring showing that she's engaged. And lots of stuff happened with celebrities. Everything on the internet is always kind of crazy. So lots of things happen in a very short amount of time. That makes it interesting in terms of, if you like, not gossip, but like, to know things about celebrities. Like, that's when you're gonna have a lot of information about them. What I like, as I said, is the looks, because I really love fashion and I like to see, what are they gonna give us. What sometimes you find like recurring things. I reacted on my other channel to the 2025 Golden Globes looks, and I found a lot of things in common. Like, everyone was kind of dressed, not everyone, but like a lot of people were kind of dressed like old Hollywood, and there was like, a lot of necklaces, a lot of diamonds. So it's kind of setting the tone for what the season is going to be. So I really want to see. I can't wait to see the other red carpets to see, what people are going to be wearing, because that's always interesting. And what I like is what we call the races. So basically, it's usually for like the main categories of best director, best actress, best actor, best supporting actress, best supporting actor, and like it takes that for every category, but like those are the ones that people like the most. There are only a few films that are nominated in every of those ceremonies, and usually it's the same ones. But the race is basically to know which one is gonna get the Oscar for Best Actress, for Best Director, etc. For example, this year, something that is I'm very invested into is the Best Actress race. Mind you, this is most of the time the most interesting. The Best Actress race. So basically, it starts with the Golden Globes. So there are two different categories for actresses at the Golden Globes: lead actresses, for actresses in a leading role, meaning the main character, and we have categories for the supporting actresses. But there are two categories for the main actresses, which are actresses in a movie and actresses in a comedy or musical. But at the Oscars, there is only one category for Best Actresses. So you're gonna have to see who makes it and who doesn't make it. And in between the Golden Globes and the Oscars, you have a whole lot of ceremonies, like I said, critics, BAFTA, SAG, and a whole bunch that I don't know about. Basically, the race is like, okay, who's gonna get nominated and who's not, and who's gonna get snubbed, and who's gonna get it to the final Oscar like nominees. The nominees have been announced a couple of days ago for the Oscars, and like all of them were nominated at the Golden Globe. So it's usually like, I don't know how to say it, like it's like everyone for the Golden Globes, and then it's like a tiny bit of each of them for the Oscars. So that's why it's interesting to see, who's gonna be where, who's gonna get nominated for what, and especially who's gonna win. For example, at this year's Golden Globe, Fernanda Torres won for Best Actress in a Motion Picture, and Demi Moore won for Best Actress in a Musical or Comedy. And they are both nominated for Best Actress at the Oscars. So it could be either one of them, Like, since they both won, they both like have an advantage, if you will. Now, Fernanda Torres is not nominated at any other award show, and she's only nominated at the Oscars. And Demi Moore is nominated in other award shows. So it depends, because people are voting to give them the award, and the voting is still open. So maybe if someone keeps winning, then she's gonna like get more shine than the other one, and she's gonna end up winning the Oscar, or vice versa. And so it's all very like, it's a campaign. People are campaigning. It's a very like, it's a marketing strategy. Like, you have to put yourself out there a little bit, but not too much. Like, it's very fascinating in terms of, strategy and marketing itself. And so that's what we call a race, like a Best Actress or Best Actor race or whatever. But usually it's interesting because to see, but this Best Actress race for this year of 2025, it's interesting because we can't really predict. We don't really know. For the moment, only the Golden Globes have happened, so we have two possible winners for Best Actress, and we have nominees for the other ceremonies, but we don't have the winners yet. But for example, for Best Actor, we kind of know who's gonna win, because he's been like, he won, and then it was Edwin Brody for The Brutalist. He won, but then like he was nominated everywhere, and he's probably going to win everywhere, unless a surprise. We never know. But usually that's what happens. Like, someone wins at the Golden Globe, and then win, and then at the Oscars they win, and there's no surprise. And so that's why this Best Actress race is kind of fascinating, because we don't really know yet. So we have to see if she wins there, if she was there, if she nominated there, And I said maybe we get a surprise. Maybe someone else wins over Adrian Brody this year at the Critics' Choice or at SAG, and we don't really know. And so that's fun to predict, And it's kind of very unserious. Like, it doesn't really matter like that, but it's really fun, and when you're entertained by this, it can be a really cool thing. So yeah, so that's what's happening with the award season. As I said, currently as I'm filming this, only the Golden Globes have happened, but mostly because of the fires in Los Angeles. So for now, we only have the Golden Globes winners, but we have the nominees for each award show, including the Oscars, which I reacted to if you want to check it out. And yeah, so that's what an award season is. I hope I was clear. I hope I was not too messy, but like that's as best as I can describe it. So yeah, we have certain ceremonies, award shows, and we have to guess who's going to win what, and that's entertaining. And we get to see a lot of stuff, a lot of looks, a lot of drama, a lot of gossip, and that's really fun. So that's what an award season is. And if you have questions, please ask me because I don't think I was clear. But like anyway, if you are a cinephile, if you love even TV shows, like you can follow these things for TV shows or for music a little bit. These are really entertaining things to look at. I don't know, it makes me smile. I just like to know what's happening and who's getting awarded for what performance, for what movie, and that's I just really like it. So I will be reacting to each of the wins for those award shows and also for the looks on my other channel, Garance French, and I will do the same for like the Grammys and such. So if you're interested in that, you can go check that out. Yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. You can leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you soon in another video. Bye!